Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Dat ben jij.
Yo!
En
Hey, de grote baas!
and this is me. Usually, let me. You know what?
This is very hard to explain because it's a complex technology, but
That always works best from the And The Groove Remains production team studios in the Netherlands. My name is Mixmaster G and this time I am not alone because I brought my good friend
Jeroen.
Jeroen Groenendijk of Alpha Theta Europe, what was used to be known as Pioneer DJ. And of course we are going to talk about this little thingy, which is Jeroen in big, because we have to switch it on the ATEM, the CDJ-3000x. Introduced yesterday, and Jeroen is one of the geeks within Pioneer DJ Europe, like I am, and those who regularly go to the stream know a little bit about who Jeroen is and how we like to communicate. Some might think those guys have a fight and will be dead at the end of the stream. No, we just have very energetic differences of opinions, but we are good buddies, trust me for that. That is what we are going to talk about, but before we deep dive into the 3000X, there are a few things that I want to touch on. The first thing that is important, that's important to Jeroen as well, is that Apple yesterday had its event, and like I told you yesterday, not that much interesting was coming out of Apple at the event. However, September the 15th, and mark that date in your agenda, is going to be the day that macOS 26, also known as Tahoe, is going to be rolled out. And I don't need to warn you, if the maker, the developer of your DJ software has not green-lighted the new macOS yet, don't update. Simple as that. My apps are all fully compatible with Tahoe because I checked that like months ago and I could easily check that. But especially if you are using equipment in hit mode, like controllers and stuff like that, there may be issues with those type of controllers. So Rekordbox on average as a program will work fine, but when you use controllers, that is where the problems most likely will appear, if there are any problems. So wait for the developer of your DJ software to greenlight Tahoe before you update your performance machines. Otherwise, expect huge troubles. Another thing, which is because we are talking today, CDJ's 3000X, one of the most popular DJs at this moment is, I think, James Hype. And the good news is that James Hype now also greenlighted the use of his CDJ-3000X. Which means that even the most notorious Nexus 2000 or the CDJ-2000 Nexus 2 users is now going to put the CDJ-3000X on his rider because all the fuss and all the commotion about James Hype not being able to use the CDJ-3000. I thought this was noteworthy information. Jeroen, here you are. And I were speaking about James Hype and the alleged problems he had, and James Hype is professional enough to know that when he's reporting an issue, it is an issue for him, but I was never able to replicate those issues. And I think...
Same here. I've seen, like most of you guys, probably the streams, and that it's running late and whatever, and been trying for days to reproduce the problem that it seems like me, and I could never recreate it. At least I don't think so. The only thing I could find, if you have your beat grids off beat and you have quantize on, that's the only way how I could reproduce it. But I'm happy that he's now convinced that the 3000X suits his needs. I'm fine with it, no problem.
I happen to know that he was close to the development of the 3000X, so I would be amazed if he wouldn't embrace it at this stage. By the way, my friend Mojax reported the same in his review of the 3000X. He was never able to replicate the issues that James was having, but again, James is professional enough that if he's reporting an issue, then it's an issue for him. So that's not the discussion, it's more like, I don't know exactly what the issue is. Then, before we dive into the 3000X, let's say hi to everybody that is already there. Dota DJ, woohoo, let's learn. Maybe one day I win a lotto, I will be able to afford one. Yeah, you never can. DJ Subculture, I can't get enough of that clip. I don't know which clip you're meaning, DJ Subculture. I assume
Coachella.
Oh, the Coachella clip. Yeah.
No one can get enough.
Yeah, it's still a good one. Javaman Sanchez. Hi, Mixmaster G and Jeroen. How are you guys? I'm doing fine. How are you today, Jeroen?
Perfectly well. Yeah.
You must be very, very tired already with running around the country, and we have a small country with the CDJ-3000x, because this thing right here in the studio is the only 3000x within the Netherlands.
Correct.
That is the 3000x in the Netherlands. So, and Jeroen has it in possession and he's driving around with it. DJ Subculture is from, as always, joining us from Los Angeles. Though don't be like me and update the beta 3 weeks ago. Everything but Stream Deck works fine, but still risky. Okay, that's for Tahoe macOS 26. You saw me yesterday, though I was fighting my Stream Deck too, and this is a macOS Monterey machine, so maybe it is more about Stream Deck than about the macOS it is running on.
But in general, it's a good thing to always lag one version behind.
Yep.
I lag behind like 2 versions because I'm still running Sonoma without an issue. But it just works, and the operating system, in my mind, does not always have something to offer to make the risk valuable. Because I also know a lot of producers, and they have a lot of plugins in their studio, and plugins is an even bigger drama, I think, than DJ software to get everything working and keep everything working stable. So, yeah, if your operating system does not bring big improvements, I always hold back as long as I can.
That's always solid advice. There's a reason why I'm still on macOS Monterey. It runs everything I need it to run, and it's current enough to use as a test base and development base. So why would I update to even Sonoma or whatever? If it runs fine, don't update it. That's my device. But on the other hand, if you are buying a new macOS computer, and either that's a MacBook Pro or something else, then usually you are forced to use the latest version of macOS, and those things you cannot downgrade easily. So for that reason, hold off, wait a minute and see until
wait a minute.
Exactly that one. Another thing that just crossed my mind, and now I forgot my line, and it was regarding updates. Maybe I
don't update too quick. Keep a hold of your old version, and the same goes for Windows, because unfortunately, I bought a new computer, and then you install a new version of Windows, while Windows 10 is far superior than Windows 11 with all those hidden menus and stuff like that. So, yeah, new is not always better.
Thank you for stalling that, Jeroen. Now I got my thought.
Yeah,
I got my thought back. The update to macOS 26 is very incremental. It is mainly user interface related. Under the hood there is not that much changed yet. Of course, we had very major upgrades like to Monterey, when everything that was 64-bit needed to be 64-bit, and otherwise it wouldn't run. Those are the major ones. This is going to be an incremental one. I don't expect too many issues, but wait for the green light before you update. Matt Official also in the building. Doing great here, Matt. Good to have you with us. Jeroen, do you have something like a quick overview talk about what the CDJ-3000 brings us, and then particularly your perspective on it, not just the marketing mambo jumbo?
I think you know me by now that I'm always speaking out loud whatever I think, and that's not always the same as what our marketing division says. But if you're looking at the big picture, the 3000A, the branding is Alpha Theta instead of Pioneer DJ, and it's just something to get used on. But it's designed by the same team of engineers. It's manufactured in the same factories as the CDJ-3000 is. So the whole Alpha Theta thing, it's just a name on the box. It's not like a whole new team, whole new company, different company. It's like the same. If we're looking at the CDJ-3000X, it's comparable like we had Nexus to the 2000 or Nexus 2 to the Nexus. It's just I don't want to say a small update, but it's just a further development of the model and not a completely new model. So I think that everybody that comes across a CDJ-3000 doesn't have any issues in getting stuff working and doing. The one thing that you do notice is that there's a massive screen, which is also a downside for some of the rental companies, because the flight cases don't fit anymore. It leaps over at the back end quite a big distance. The jog wheel has also been redesigned, so you have a lot more tension control. It's a little bit lighter in the lightest mode, but it has a lot more of tension, braking force, when you put it in the heavy mode. And that's something I think was really missing on the CDJ-3000. It was a too loose jog wheel, but they improved big time on
Is
that.
this something you want to demonstrate, Jeroen? Then we can move over.
Demonstrate is a little bit difficult, but okay, well, we have the overhead view. Is it a little bit?
Yeah, we have the overhead view on, but I see that the screen cam is also on it. We used to be very good at this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we used to be like centering like everything constantly.
I think there once was a time that we were ridiculously good at this one, but that day and time is gone. So this should be a little bit more pleasing to the eye.
Okay, you have the full overhead. All right. Okay, if you look on the screen, so let's just run down the whole thing. You have this massive screen on top. That's the first thing that you notice. And by the way, we cranked down the brightness control all the way, otherwise it would blue out the image on the screen. If we in the top left, there is the USB input and USB-C input. So the SD card slot has been removed. So it's USB-C, which is quite convenient when you have the new double-sided
The dual drive from Theta.
It is a SanDisk Extreme Pro Dual, and this is really the fastest device I could scout out now. I'm not going.
We did run the test, so we know that it's the fastest.
Like this is the non-branded version, or at least the SanDisk version. They are crazy fast. This is the best thing I can advise if you are looking for a new USB. If we go top down, you will see that there's a change in printing on the loop buttons. In general, you will see that on the CDJ there is less of the silk screen, so there's no more play cue, there's no stripes here at the pitch control. It's a lot cleaner. The whole top face is anodized aluminum. Or aluminum, depending on where from the world you are. You have the track search buttons. They are now illuminated white. We have new RGB colors in Q and play. And
hold on, we are falling off the screen. So if I move it a little bit higher, like that.
Yeah, I should don't touch it too hard. Okay, now it's a little bit wobbly, but guys, just take a sip of your beer and no one notices it. So there's a little bit less of the printing, and if you look at the jog, when I put it all the way in light tension, it spins like this. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but so it just spins an awful lot. If you have the CDJ-3000 all the way in its heaviest, it's roughly about this position. And now you can crank it up all the way, and it really has a lot of braking force. And I think it's a really big improvement. I don't like to have it all the way, something like 12, one-click pass. That's what I really like. So that's the hardware changes on the outside. At the back side, we only have USB-C, so no more USB-B cable. So if you want to connect to your HID system, you need to have USB-C.
I noticed that, but are there USB-C to USB-A cables in the box? Because that connection has like, you want that to have like a 90-degree corner, so it goes out and straight down. And I never saw those in the USB-C form.
No, and I think also in the box there's no USB cable.
No?
But the box I have is not the retail box.
I know you didn't have to. You did that prototype
So
box.
I know will be a digital cable. I know there will be RCA. I know there will be lockable power. But I think that's all the cabling you will get with it. But we know when.
No UTP.
UTP will probably also be there. Yeah, just like CDJ-3000.
All right.
But 3000 also did not include a USB cable.
Okay.
And UTP, like a network cable, yes.
Yep.
So then, let's just run through the machine, because we have the input, and just like any CDJ, you select the source, and there you have all your inputs. Cameraman.
I'm working on it, buddy. But,
but
this cam needs to come.
You go through the matrix,
straight through the matrix, and then we got a few.
So we have all the inputs selected, and for those of you that don't know, in the lower left corner you have a number of the deck. This is the number within the link, and in the top left of this icon you also see a number, and that's corresponding with the player number. And by the way, the screen is now capacitive instead of pressure sensitive. The first thing that you always do when you want to go DJing, you select the source where you want to have your tracks from. The first one is the USB, so these are the local files on the USB. And if you touch the second one, you will have all your streaming services. So if I go locally to the USB, first thing you always want to do is load settings. You can do that one or of several ways. You can press this button. If you press it, it will blow out the screen. You can also, in this menu, there's a load and save option, and you can also press this gear icon just like the AZ, and then you have the My Settings load over here. So there's 3 ways to do so. Let's go down. Then you have your track. Settings were load. I choose local library, and this is how you have your local library. You browse just like the CDJ-3000. This is a scrollable menu item. You set in the record box whatever you want to have in this list, in the order that you want to have everything here. And I used to go here by browse by genre, because I got all my genres filled in, or track, and this is a list of all my tracks. By the way, I hope you can see it, but behind the blue track there's a number between brackets. This is the item, the total number of items listed below. So if you make a selection, if you would go to search, and you can use the search. One other trick. Let's say I see something from Jose, and I want to search for Jose. One of the new things in CDJ-3000 is that you can copy and paste text. So I just hover or press Jose, and you saw copy to clipboard. Then you go to search, set your cursor over here, and you have the paste item over here. So now it's looking on my device to everything with Jose.
So the moment you hold your finger over any text, it will copy it?
Yes. And you can also, if you load a track, and if you are looking for the information of the track, so you press the I over here, you will see this information as well. And if I see like...
Hold on. Can I set star ratings there? Nope.
Yes.
There is a button for it.
Yep. And now you can say, give me stars.
Ah, that's great. That's great.
This information is stored on the USB device, and that is one of the bits of data that is being transferred to your computer when you hook up the USB to your
Sync it
laptop.
back.
So it needs to be synced back. You can copy everything here. So if you are in the info panel, you hold Club 7, copy to the text clipboard.
The moment you hold on text, it will copy the text.
Yeah, it's just half a second.
I see. It's pretty quick.
And
oh, that's smart.
Here you browse by that search. If I go search, I want to clear the entry, because in the 3000 there used to be a clear button in the lower right. That's no longer there, because long live the new user interface. Remove it, touch it, paste it.
Yeah, that's more what people are used to have a cross there to clear it.
Yeah, it's just a step forward in, is that UI or UX?
UI, user interface.
Yes. So then if you look at the screen, if I grab one of the playlists,
Can we do another trick that I saw Mojax do? I never laid hand on this unit before, folks. So
I always tend to avoid everybody's video because that influences whatever I'm going to tell. So, but go ahead, whatever you want.
What I really liked is, or are you going to the gated later?
Yes,
oh,
of course.
Okay. We wait for the gated.
That's down the line. So, if you look at the screen, there's 12 lines of text in normal text size. On the CDJ-3000, that used to be 10. And I call this button the Baco button. If you're from the Netherlands, you know what a Baco is. If you don't know, it's a Bacardi and Coke. So if I press it again, the letters get wider. So the more you drink, you need more clear view. But at the beginning of the evening, you're focused. And if you put it in the smallest font size, you will have 16 lines compared to the 12 that you have now. So there's a lot more information on the screen available if you want it.
So you can browse in 3 different sizes of the 3 different font sizes. Oh, that's smart.
Yes, and this button is already on the 3000, but the changes is now that you have 16 compared to 12 and 12 compared to 10 lines on the screen. And by the way, this second column, you see on my stick, it is filled in because I have all my tags properly set up. It's now on artist, but you can change whatever you want to have in that second column.
Okay.
By default, it's how you have the setting in Rekordbox. So, I have search. I'm still looking for Club 7 and I'm trying to avoid putting my hand constantly in front of the camera, and I'm going to put it on Beatbox. Remember that, it's easy. So then we have your browse menu, and your browse menu you can have browse by track, and you can go down, and this is what happens all the time. Your rotary controls the blue thing, so press it and now you're going to move.
You jump over to the other column.
Tip that's already there for a long time, hold the rotary for a second and then you get letters, and that's the way how you can quickly go down. And may I remind you, there's 7,500 tracks in this list, so this is how fast it goes.
For those who are interested, that's because Device Library Plus, folks.
Yes, I did not tell that, but this is a new generation player, so you need to have Device Library Plus, so you need to have at least 6.8.4.
Yeah, something in the 6.8 range.
The latest 6.8, but preferably just go to 7, choose the free subscription plan. There's no need for a subscription plan if you want to prepare your USBs. Anyway. So I'm browsing and I select this track Limbo. I want to talk about playlists because I use playlists a lot. And of course you can, in your browse menu, go to playlist, and this is where you see your playlist and a folder with playlist. But I'm going to put it back on track, put it on Limbo, and I go to the playlist button over here. Looks the same. If you go back, looks the same as that menu I just showed you in the browse window. It is, but you now have playlist banks. So what you can do, you can attach a playlist to one of the bank buttons. It's like a favorites. So I'm just going to put a few playlists. So now I have 4 different playlists in my preferences. And I'm going to put the first one at track 2. The second playlist, I'm going to put it at 4. Third, I'm going to put it at 6, and the fourth, I'm going to put it at 8.
Is this information written back to the USB that the next time I'm behind the 3000?
No.
Oh, so you have to set it up each time you are in 3000x.
Yes, every time, because this is just like you put your records in your record case.
I understand.
When you move to the next club, it's reset every time. So you have to set this every time.
You're just curious. It would make sense to store it, but
the philosophy behind it is that you adapt to the situation in the club that you're at. At that point in time.
Sure.
So, but what I wanted to show you is that you have actually 6 different browsers or Finder windows or Explorer windows in the CDJ-3000, because we had the browsing by track is still at Limbo. Search, it's still at Beatbox. Playlists has the 4 playlists, but every position in the playlist
is saved,
is remembered.
Okay.
So you use that because I have a playlist. I'm going to play in this playlist, and then I'm thinking, oh, I need that one track from something, and I play this track. but then I always forget where I was, what I was doing, and now I can just go back and it's still...
Oh, that's smart. That keeps indeed where it's at.
Yes. So this is the playlist, and now that we're in playlist, let me get a playlist that I don't care so much about. Oh, how you remove a playlist, trash can. So now my playlist is removed from this panel.
The different order. Trash gear first, and then press the favorite.
Yeah, and now I want to have this one on this position, because I don't care about this playlist, it was just a test. Because there's also something that's called edit playlist. And what you can do is you can grab a track, edit, it gets yellow, and as soon as I select a track, I'm going to get a yellow line. And now I can move that line to a new position and drop that track there, so I can adapt and change the playlist order on the fly.
Okay.
Let's say I want to have this one up. And bonus tip, you can also remove tracks from a playlist. So if you swipe left, you will get the trash can icon, and you can remove this track from this playlist.
And this information is synced back to the original Rekordbox collection the moment you connect USB.
This is saved on the USB.
Yeah,
so
but is it synced back to if I'm at the computer?
I don't know if it's going to be automatically, because it has changed throughout the testing.
Okay.
But it is possible to get this information back, so you have a learning system. Just like you make hot queues and the hot queues get synced back. I did not test enough to know what's going to do if there's a conflict situation.
Okay.
But I would assume that it says, hey, what do you want me to overwrite the list? So I'm going to escape from the edit list. Then I think we're about to go to the hot queues. Because obviously there's hot queues. And you will see, if I load a track, it doesn't have any hot queues. I just remember one thing why we should put the audio up to the mixer, but let's just do it vocally. So there is something that's called touch preview. So if I'm playing a track, and unfortunately we don't have the audio, there would be a copyright claim anyway. So I'm playing this track, so the audience is listening to whatever the white marker is at. There's something called touch preview. If I finger the strip, I'm going to move a marker. And by the way, I can also place the marker, move my finger above it so I can see where it's at, and then I'm dragging that marker and it's scrolling in the screen. This goes way faster than the 3000. So this output is being sent via RJ45, so the network cable, to the mixer, and the mixer has a button called Link Queue. That's for the V10, that's for the A9, that's for the Nexus 2.
And that's it. Those have.
I think also the 750 Mark II, but anyway.
No, only the Nexus 2, the A9 and the V10.
It's, so that's the link queue. So this is what you listen to, the link queue. So the audience is listening to the track, and I can check what's ahead. But now we have this annoying thing that I play back to back with the one and only Mixmaster G, and he started this track, and I see this break. I hate breaks. Peter likes them, but I hate breaks. So what I want to do...
Nice break to mix in. Makes your life a little easier.
Yeah, I just want to mix after that. So there's a few things that you can do. You have beat jump, obviously. And beat jump, by pressing one of these buttons, you will see the step size 16 beats. If I press it, it jumps 16 beats ahead. And if you have quantize enabled, the audience will probably not hear that. But if I want to jump over the break, it's a little bit annoying. What you can do, bonus tip, if you did not know yet, you hold the call button, and when I press the beat jump, if I press it to the left, it halvens the jump size, or it expands the jump size ×2. Yes, you can also go to the shortcut menu and set the jump size over here, so there's multiple ways to do different things. But back to the set that I'm playing with our Mixmaster G over here, I want to skip that break. So what I can do, I can make a hot queue after that break, even without no hot queues set on forehand. So the audience is listening here. I can preview where I want this track to skip. And yes, it's using quantized, but this is the first beat after that stupid long break. And if I just hold it here and I press the hot cue, I make a hot cue where my touch preview point is at. If you would do that on the 3000, it will make a hot cue at the current playing position. But the difference to the 3000X is that it's now making it to the touch point. So now this track is playing and there's a little bit of a break coming on. And then I'm like 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Bye bye. No more break because it just skips ahead.
You jumped over it. The thing that I was referring to,
I get to get it.
Is the fun part that the cue button now links up to the cue color of the hot cue.
Yes. And if you hold it and if you make hot cues, pause it.
You are in colorful mode.
Yes.
Who's using colorful?
Me.
You are, obviously.
Me, because I want to make advertisement that we've got RGB LEDs behind it. So, if in the menu you have override current cue with hot cue, and we call that smart cue. If you have that deactivated, it's just
the famous orange.
Normal. This is orange. This is green, and it's just starting to.
Hold on, Jeroen. I realized that
I get to the gated.
No, the cue button was not in view. Now it is.
Oh, well, okay. Well, the cue button and the play button is just normal, like you are used to the 3000. It's green and it's orange. And if I press a hot cue, it's just doing whatever you think is going to do for the hot cue. Okay, so if I activate this function again, I go to the menu, override current cue or activate smart cue. What it does now is the cue button is going to be copied from the hot cue point, including the color. So if I press hot cue B, which is this cyan color, you see that the cue also illuminated cyan, so you can see the color coded, and it's just moving along with whatever color you have. And oh, by the way, the orange is the original color, so you have two colors of green, red. So it's a very easy way having that cue. How can you use that? If you are not prepared and if you press like the D, Q is also your loop in point. And as soon as I press a hot cue, you will see that the loop in is going to blink. Meaning I set a cue in, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And your in loop is automatically started.
No, because it's a hot cue and I did not make a loop. You can also make a hot loop if you have a loop.
Yeah, I understand, but the moment you start, so track is now playing, you are playing from here, then automatically the in point, the moment you hit the hot cue, the in point is set, and you just can set the out point.
Now, well, the thing is that if you press a hot cue, the cue marker is set to the hot cue point. That's the logic what I'm trying to tell. But the philosophy within Pioneer DJ equipment, ever since the CDJ-3000, is that the cue is loop in point. So by setting the cue to the hot cue, you also set your loop in point.
Okay, I never noticed that other one, that the cue button is controlled the loop in.
Try it on
I've used this a gazillion times.
I would say on any CDJ ever since CDJ-500, CDJ-500 had one button, and that was a loop out button. So then you have you set a cue point, which is the loop in, and by the way, that has a limit of, what was it, 17 seconds, so you have to be quick with your loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, you only have to press the out, and that's a thing that's still in our system, even after it was 94.
It makes sense, but I never because
you spend some time there.
I'm learning something new every day, and I'm not too afraid to admit it. So that's a great feature, and that's something that I never knew about for a gazillion years. And then, of course, the thing that I begged for like 15 years.
Well, trust me,
gated hot cues.
There is somebody that begged longer for this than you.
Yeah, really?
Because what Peter is talking about is the thing that's called gated hot cue. And what is gated hot cue? Well, gated hot cue is that if you recall a hot cue, it's depending on the play status of the deck, what it's going to do. So now the deck is playing, and this is the behavior that you're used to with 3000. I'm going to trigger a hot cue, and it's going to start playing from that hot cue. Nothing new, nothing fancy. The gated hot cue can be activated by this button, can be activated here, and it can be activated in the utility menu. If it's activated, playback state of the hot cue is depending on play state of the machine. If I put the machine in pause mode, it's going to be gated hot cue, meaning that if I keep it pressed, it's going to play. Oh, if I keep it pressed, it's going to play as long as I hold down the button, and as soon as I let my finger go, it goes back to this behavior. And so now you can
Essentially how all DJ software minus Rekordbox not in gated hot cue mode works.
Let me try to tell you something you might not know. This is the behavior the CDJ-3000 Mark I in 2001 had. And this was how hot cues worked in the first generation of our CDJs. And then there was this one small country at the other side of that big ocean that started complaining that hot cues should always start if you play them. And then they removed this in the Mark II. So this
was there and is removed.
Because that 50-state country asked for it.
Okay, that's with the orange guy, right? With the carrot at the top.
Oh, are we now banned?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is degated. I love it, and I think this should have been default behavior ever since day one that we had the hot cues. And you're totally right, Peter.
And then for the number one question, is this preference stored to the USB in my settings?
It's there. And if you have the latest version of Rekordbox 7.2.2,
you can make it the My setting.
There's a new setting in the My settings, and then you have a toggle yes and no.
Great.
So I should not know a reason why you would not activate this. This should be default behavior.
Well, it might be muscle memory from some of the bigger artists. That's the reason why they hold off so long
if you
on it.
activate it,
it's in your face.
It's there. I love it, and
I love it too.
Let's hope it's here to stay for a long time.
This is by far the number one requested feature.
Yes.
Shall I have a look at the questions that we have on the screen? And I grabbed some.
Yes, because we have still some streaming stuff.
And then we go back to the streaming and the other gimmicks.
Because I have other stuff to talk about.
I've got a new battery pack for you.
Hey, ons bent zuinig, hè? I still have 1 bar of.
You still got a bar, so you can still.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Hold on. there you go. No, I have to switch them on the ATEM. That's the confusing part. Let's see. Because as you
do we have questions?
I have questions, I think.
Holy moly! Oh, guys, you're very active. Nice.
First of all, Chuck van Ekelen says hi. DJ Met Official is in the building.
Hey.
And then Sherry Vlog is asking, do you think Alpha Theta has fixed the sun damage issue on CDJ-3000s, where the plastic tends to melt in 30 plus degrees heat wave because they are not metal?
We still have to do the testing, obviously, in the summertime. At the end, I think that everything that's black and you put it in the sun, it attracts heat and it warms up. We have not had that good of weather in the Netherlands. I know what you're talking about. I don't have any answer about this. I'm not scared about anything because I think that if things get warped, or how do you phrase it, melt, I think it will get solved at the end. But in the general practice, you should not use electronics in the outside. I don't know if you have something like this. Even if it's in my charging tray in my car, it's sometimes just set too hot. I'm not working anymore. If we would build in a protection like that in a CDJ, people would also complain. So there's nothing good to do. I would advise people, if they're playing in the full sun, put a cover over any electronic bits that you have. If it's a computer monitor, if it's a computer, if it's a laptop, you should never put electronics in the full sun.
Then Chuck thinks that some folks might be set to see the SSD code.
Yes, I agree. I think that there's people missing that, but we did international investigations, and apparently the users that are using SD card seem to be not in the oversized, and I think there's more people having a USB-C USB device now than SD cards. By the way, SD cards always have an issue in how to use them and how big they can be to be used, because officially SD cards up to 32 gigs need to be formatted FAT32. People use a 128 card and then they just format it FAT32 one way or the other, and then it's, yeah, I hacked the system, it's working. Yeah, but formally you should format them as exFAT, and then you only can play them on CDJ-3000 from firmware version 2.0 onwards. So the whole SD thing got a little bit also of a risk. And yes, it's unfortunate that we cannot have everything on there, but I think that USB-C is a very good replacement for the SD card. And if you're afraid by people stealing your USB, I know Samsung has those tiny height, 1 centimeter USB devices.
You have those very small ones from
yeah, well, you even got them smaller, within a centimeter. I got them in my car. So if you're afraid about stealing, yeah, just grab one of those, or put a lanyard on your USB and put that under the feet of the CDJ, that if one steals it, they tore down the whole booth. And I've had a lot of conversation with people. They are afraid of USBs getting stolen or ripped out. And I always ask people, have you had that happen?
Yes.
And I'm not listening to a story, I've heard that. I'm looking for the first guy that tells me my USB
in a
was
serious
stolen.
professional situation that somebody ripped out.
But even semi-professional people can only say, I've heard that and somebody said, but I have not spoken to
that's correct.
somebody, first person, my USB was ripped. I'm only talking people that have the fear for it.
I've not witnessed that either. Then Sharif has an interesting one. Can you update the CDJ over Wi-Fi without a USB stick?
No, updates are still being done like always. Put the UPD file on a USB, put it in, boot it with the 2 buttons. Because the booting actually starts a separate process within the CDJ. The CDJ does not boot up when you do the update process. This is before booting of the system. So I don't think it's possible, because the Wi-Fi is activated once the whole system has been booted. So that's a later process. So I don't think that's possible, and I would also think it's not wise, because you have it's a risky process. So if you have power failure, connection failures, just put it on a USB. The USB needs to be, I use a small one, 32 gigabytes, format it FAT32 and put the UPD file in the root of that device, and that's how you format it.
Okay, then there is one that I will take care of. Mac Joseph again is trying to light up the Denon / Pioneer DJ Alpha Theta discussion. Mac, please stop. It's childish behavior, and if you want an answer from me, try to get your gear repaired, period. Then you notice immediately the difference. So that's for Mac, so that means we can skip a lot of questions there and a lot of remarks. I won't be so childish that I will remove them. But
can you analyze tracks on the fly? Yes. You don't have to do that, and you can analyze it. The analyze process on board of the CDJ is more powerful than the 3000, but the computer can do it better.
Then Nerd Reports asks if it has internet, and then finds out that it has internet. And then we can...
the day-night mode is on the schedule, and it's under investigation. I would love to have it. I don't like the light mode, but I know it's very helpful when you're playing in the full sun. By the way, in the full sun, the display that we use in the 3000X has less glary top layer, so it shows less glossy than the 3000, so you should have less interference of highlight situation. Even though while we were setting up, we had to crank down all the lights, but that's normal in the studio.
Javerman is asking, running down the 3000 versus the AZ, is there any difference in functionality or menu? Is there something the AC can't do that the 3000 can do. I think it's a little bit of a strange sentence there, Javaman.
At the end, it's roughly the same display, and it's just the next generation. And the AZ has different streaming providers as the 3000. The AZ is, and by the way, it's AZ. AZ is the US way to pronounce it. They corrected me a lot of time. AZ. So that's like a 4-deck player, so you have less space. I don't know which features you are looking at, but the AZ is not a direct replacement for the 3000. But I think it is the closest thing to a set of the 3000s.
Aesthetic Beats is asking what's the difference between FLAC and WAV files. That answer is simple: size. Both are lossless, which means both are supposed to be the exact same audio quality. However, FLAC is compressed without the loss of quality, hence lossless, and WAV is uncompressed, which means bigger files. Other very important difference is FLAC files have an official tagging scheme, which means they can contain the artist, the title, the artwork, all that kind of stuff. WAV files don't have an official tagging scheme. And there are some ways, I know there are some ways. Broadcast WAV is, by the way, Jeroen, not an official WAV scheme.
I know, but the way, if you have a waveform with metadata, you would call it .wbf, because that would be WAV broadcast format, but it's not officially certified. If you have certain tagging programs, it's possible to tag wave audio files. I know Tag Scanner on the PC does that. I don't know anything on the
Serato does it on its very own way, which is not compatible with Tag Scanner.
That's the database of Serato.
No. Serato tags inside the WAV file.
Okay, well that would be a good thing, because it doesn't tag. It doesn't tag MP3 in the file itself.
Yes, it does too.
But was it Apple? Was it iTunes that didn't do that?
iTunes doesn't do it always, but Serato stores everything in the audio file, and it doesn't matter which audio file format. For WAV, they have a very proprietary even the cues, the loops, the analysis data, that's all stored inside the audio file. The Serato database is essentially for lookup, for quick access. That's it. There is no important data stored there about the tracks, that is.
At the end, and back to the question, WAV, what was it, AIFF?
FLAC and WAV.
Because I would explain FLAC as it's just a zipped WAV.
Yep.
You need a decompressor, and there's no computer that does it by default, so you have to have VLC or whatever, MMPF.
No, most computers do it by default, even Mac. However, FLAC is not compatible with Apple's iTunes, now called Music. On the other hand, some WAVs did have issues on the CDJ-3000 and other CDJs, and I am curious, Jeroen, if this has the same issue. We can test it, because I happen to have those WAVs.
The thing is that if you put in a WAV file with 32-bit
we are talking we are talking WAV files that meet the specification.
I come across people that try to use archiving files. They bounced in the studio on 96K 32-bit, and they want to DJ with that. Use the proper stuff for the proper usage. Make a file, if you want to play on DJ, make it maximum 24-bit, 44 or 48, but not 96. There's no need for files of that quality being used in a DJ booth.
Then let's see, Sin Eldo. There seems to be one global playlist per input source that is...
We didn't talk about that yet, but there's some streaming things that I still needed to talk about, but Peter wanted to do the questions.
Yeah, after the questionnaire, so that's coming up.
Stin, remind me if I skip over it, but I'm going to address the global tag list, which is not really global, but I will explain.
Nicholas Owen is asking the question that we were asking ourselves too, and namely, will Apple Music come? like the AZ. So the AZ has it, obviously.
Hey, I told you.
Yeah, you thought. We were discussing this over dinner, and I wasn't sure that the AZ had it, but Jeroen was, and of course Jeroen is the specialist here.
I don't know. I also don't have.
But
all
he
the answers.
didn't know it for sure, because if he knew it for sure, then it was a Google moment. But he didn't know it for sure. So
you made me doubt.
We didn't look it up.
Because my first thing was yes, and then you said no, I didn't think so, and I was like, let me get another bite of this big golden arches thingy.
Okay, so you can access Beatport.
Yes.
Yeah, and those different global targets. All right, we go to the tech list then later on. Let's see, Sharif Vlogs. Do you think Alpha Theta would switch to a faster processor for stems, like the Intel i9, rather than an old mobile processor, or wouldn't cost too much money?
I don't think stems will be supported on this platform. It's very CPU intensive, it's also memory intensive, and I would love to have it, but I don't think it's gonna come. At this point in time, I don't think there is real hardware that does it really on the fly. If you want to have a stem file, so some people use DJ software to make an a cappella, that's the wrong tool for the wrong job. If you want to have a clean a cappella, buy software like Ripix or any comparable software, and they make really good stems out of tracks. And with Ripix you can even decide what you want the stems to be, but that's a separate processing, and it takes roughly times 0.5. Takes twice the length of the song to do the processing, but then you get a proper wave file that has proper quality. DJ software is just like using Photoshop to create a poster. You can do it. Is it smart? No, because you would use Illustrator or InDesign for that. Use the proper tool for the proper job.
Then one interesting question from Mac Joseph, which is still a little bit spicy, but indeed I'm interested in how you navigate this one. Why couldn't you just simply firmware update the 3000 with gated hotkeys?
Good question. I would love to have such an update. Yeah. That would,
so we leave that.
That would be great. I don't think it will come, because there's a lot of things and people don't think about it, but we design the hardware and it's constantly using almost all the CPU powers that's on the inside. So there's no time left in the CPU to check for gated hotkey, because if we would do that, it would need to leave out on something different, because the CPU load is really high. Because why would you put in a CPU if you only use 10%? So we put in a CPU and use it all the time, to the max. So I don't think there is CPU cycles available on the 3000 to have such features added. And there will not be a big update for the 3000 to try to squeeze as much features and functions that the 3000X has in the 3000, because the hardware does not support it. That some things needed to be there from the base. And I know gated hotkey seems like just a software function, but you need to buffer, you need to preload, and so you need to have additional memory. The 3000X has 32 gigabytes of memory on the inside, 16 gig is available for storage of tracks. We're going to address that in a little bit. So the 3000X is already prepared for certain things, having at least a lot more memory.
Okay, then one that is close to my heart and your heart as well. Will you miss the Pioneer DJ brand? Liam asks. Liam knows he will.
Next question. It's not gone, because I'm still having a whole wardrobe full of clothes, but for good behavior I just put in like the Alpha Theta. Yes, I'm going to miss it, but it's not gone, and at the end the company is the same. Let's not forget, when I started working at the company in '99, it was called Pioneer, and later came Pioneer Pro DJ, and then in 2012 it was Pioneer DJ with a big space, and then that was 2010, and then 2012 they decreased the space, and then 2018, 19 came Alpha Theta. So if you're working for a company for a long time, some things will change, and I think that's a good thing, because then the company is adapting to modern times. Period.
Caesar Ellis is stepping up to Mac Joseph's defense. Caesar, your name is new to the stream, and Mac Joseph and I go back a way long time. He's a good guy. The thing is, we are not here to say one brand is superior to the other. We are not here to say Denon is more superior. I've got SE6000Ms right next to me. I like them, it's okay. But it's not like we are fighting what's better or what's worse. This is a stream where we talk about the CDJ-3000X, which means there is no need to talk about what Denon can do, what my toaster can do, or what my coffee machine can do, because that's not what we're talking about.
Let's talk about my car, because it goes way faster than the 3000X.
I hate cars, so
I know, that's why I say car.
At
the end, I want to say I would love Denon to have a very competitive product that had reach in the market and was also positioned strongly in the market, because that would also keep our engineers on their toes, developing more features people really want. And so I would embrace Denon to have a very competitive product that would match up to the 3000X, that has a market integration and that was used by DJs, because at the end it's healthy for the market, it's healthy for an interesting market, and it would make my job and also Peter's job much more fun if there was a very good product.
If there was legit competition.
Yeah.
And having said that, yes, this is expensive. And no, it's not for everyone.
It's not home toys.
It's not even meant for everyone. Is it overpriced? Maybe. But the market dictates if this is a fair price or not. And not somebody who's comparing it with something else which is not exactly the same. Yes, they are both DJ equipment. And there ends the analysis or the similarities. So don't do that. And Alpha Theta gear has its place in the market, and the moment in music comes out with a product that is as reliable, has as good as an ecosystem, and can be repaired as quickly and as swiftly as Pioneer DJ gear, then I think they can grab their own market share and we have a new discussion.
And I want to put the credits where they are, because Denon was the first to enter like CD market with the DN2000 back in the 90s already, and they broke the whole market for CD. Pioneer followed them in their trails, and I think that we did a pretty good job in keep developing new stuff and improving our models. $3,000 euros is a lot of money, but it's professional equipment. Formula race car is also very expensive, but it's designed for something different than in a home booth. And for a home booth we have great machines like an AZ, an RX3, an RR, Omnis Duo. These are great products for use and have a much fairer price. And if your price point is a target where you're looking at, look for something that fits within the price point. And I think that the RX3 is very good. I think even the RR is good, or the Omnis Duo is a great tool to have. So there's products for every bit of the market size.
Then we have one, I think I know the answer already to. Do you know how many CDJ-3000s Alpha Theta sold last year? I think Jeroen is not at liberty to speak about that, even if he would know. But
that's an answer I cannot give you an answer to. And it's easy for me to figure out, but that's not something I think is adding value to this conversation at this point in time.
Would the stem discussion not be solved if Beatport, etc. just start selling stems? Seems inefficient to try undress songs if original stems are available straight from the producer. Stin, this was tried before. This is tried before. By my friends from Native Instrument, Tractor. They had the stem technology laid down like 10 years ago, and they made deals with certain labels that certain tracks would come out in stems and you could live stem them in Tractor, and this is way before real-time stemming. We're talking 10 years back.
Was it even with Beatport? Because it was official. It was official.
No, it was with labels. They made deals with labels and it was available on Beatport. And that worked wonderfully well and nobody used it. Because it was either too expensive, to be honest.
Also, artists didn't want to release their stems.
Yes, they didn't want that. So yes and no, I guess.
So, and if you want to go that route with separate stems, invest in a program called RipX and create your own. Because Ripix does a good job. If you wanna go
Nicholas Owen is asking the other interesting question. Will Rekordbox ever take on features that Mixmaster G's software and companies like Lexicon have? I think we cannot talk about future things of Rekordbox, but that's your answer too.
At the end, we want to make functions and not just put it in from somebody, even though I know Peter has valuable stuff developed that could be used in our software, but I also would like Peter to have a little bit of turnover in his toys, tools.
DJ Mark Reflection is asking the regular question that you get each time you have somebody of Pioneer DJ/AlphaTet over. When are you going to improve the stems in Rekordbox? Like Jeroen can do that with his bare own hands.
The thing is that the stems is a trade-off between CPU power and things like that. Again, I see stems as an effect, and if you want to have a perfect stem separation, go for software that's dedicated to do it, and if you have it in a DJ program, I look at it as an effect. You always layer stuff, so you have the a cappella from one track, you want to mute the vocal from one track when you mix in the other one, so there's always stuff happening in the mix, and I don't think that people are really keen on listening to, that sounds bad. It sounds bad if you want to have a stripped, clean vocal and you use that with a DJ tool, but now I'm talking to the same thing that I already said, use the proper tools for the proper job.
And then Cesar Alas is screaming out, Tractor, you're preaching to the choir here. Cesar, Tractor is still my base DJ software, though I am talking about switching to something else for like 4 years now. I still cannot leave it. It's just a matter of legacy, being used to it, liking what it does, doing what I need it to be doing. So for all those reasons, I'm still on Tractor. Which means we can walk back to our friend the 3000X for the continuation of your runaround.
I have no idea where I just left off, but if we go through the matrix, landed, you took the blue pill. So, a few things with, one of the questions was about the tag list. Obviously we had the browse, playlist and search, but there's also tag list. I think I pressed the button somewhere. But if you tag tracks, it's just like picking up the records from record set. So I have no idea why there's stuff in my tag list. I think I pressed the button accidentally, because if you tag tracks, you place a marker. Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, by the way, the menu button has different functions on different places in the screen. So if you press that button when you're in the tag list, you get the menu to remove the entries. So now I can press the tag list. Huh? Okay. Why?
There is some black magic going on in your system, buddy.
Why does this happen?
Go back and forth, see what happens.
Because I have my track highlighted, so the blue is on track. If I rotate the rotary, I'm going to move this. If I press tag track, this is the button over here, I'm not tagging that limbo track.
You tag the entire playlist.
The whole category, and then it's just
whatever is blue you tag.
Poof. So it's everything. Okay, well, problem solved. There's no black magic. It's all, everything is explainable. Oh, and by the way, guys, this was not prepared. Anyway, tagging tracks. I'm going to track. I'm going to tag these 2 tracks, and I can do that from several playlists.
Just to make sure that people can see it, it's this button right here, not the encoder.
True.
It's this button that you press to tag a track.
Yes, and you see this red check mark in front of the track. These tracks are tagged, and if I go to tag list, those tags show up, and a tag list is stored per device, so every USB has its own tag list. Now, what's about the global? Because there's global and it doesn't do anything. So I need to activate the cloud. So now I can do the login. So if I have login to cloud, my USB is connected, is authorized within Rekordbox. So it's logging in with my name. Alternatively, shall we do it?
Yeah, why not? But
Let's do it last. Let's do it last because can you do the black magic screen thing and talk to the peeps for a second while I do the beatport thingy?
sure. So essentially what will happen here is that Jeroen needs to prepare his beatport, but since beatport is not part of the automatic login process yet, he has to enter it, and he doesn't want to share that. He shares a lot of knowledge, he doesn't share his passwords. He's that kind of guy. You cannot blame him for that.
This goes a little bit way beyond the thing because I'm very happy with beatport. It's a great service.
And Chuck is already leaving us. Chuck, good to have you with us, buddy. Have a safe one. Lawsome,
Okay, I'm there.
Yeah, Lawsome Net has a question. Will we see Alpha Theta club standard mixers soon? Right now the branding for your standard club setup will be under separate brands. That seems to be odd.
It is, but we have a mixer in the Alpha Theta brand, and that's called the Euphonia. It's a rotary mixer. The Pioneer DJ Matrix Blue Pill. The Pioneer DJ branded mixer are the A9, the V10s, and I think there will be a future where we have also all the Alpha Theta mixers, but the A9 has just been released. The V10 is also relatively new, so that will take a while.
I have to wait for that.
So what I did in the meanwhile was logging into my beatport, because with authorizing your USB, I log into my Cloud Direct Play and I log into Tidal, but beatport doesn't work with that same principle. So if I go to beatport, I use Peter's internet, and by the way, if I rotate this, it's going to move this one, so I'm going to move over to this one, and I go to that one proper category here in beatport, Techno Peak Time. I love it.
Blow up the speakers.
It does boonky 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 very well. So now I have the tracks here, and if I would be marking the tracks in beatport streaming, and mind you, I did not buy these tracks, this is a streaming provider. So I mark a bunch of tracks and I go to my tag list. You will see that beatport is now downloading, but Global combines the USB and beatport and Tidal, all the streaming providers in one list. And you will see that the cloud icon is being filled up. So all these tracks are now downloaded to the internal memory of the CDJ. I can now disconnect the internet and still use them. If I would have a second deck, and I unfortunately could not test a lot with the second deck, but these tag lists should also be available on linked machines.
All right.
So then you go to the USB in player 2 and the tag list is also available there.
And is that stored on the USB or just in the internal memory of the 3000X?
In the memory of the 3000X. So there's 16 gigabyte memory available to store all these tracks. So you can put in quite a bunch of them.
And as you said, this is the global list. Does that also indicate that it is synced back to the cloud? So if I go to a different player and I sign in, I have the tag list again?
No, because it's USB bound. If I eject this USB, the tag list is gone. It's just like the tag list. You put your records over top in your case. If you go to the next club, you close it and it's gone. And
what about if you do this without the USB attached and just use the NFC to log into the cloud?
I have no idea. I did not test that because
I know from my friend Jemodiex's review that you can do all this without a USB.
Yes.
But then my question would be,
how?
What do you do when you need to sign out of that USB because or that CDJ because there is a next artist coming up?
If you go to the thing here, you should be able to log out. I saw it somewhere. Well,
there should be a logout.
We have to. I have to check where that's at, because at the end, if it's still logged in, We're going to check what's going to happen with the NFC, because if I think I'm done with the whole streaming thing, because everybody.
All right, then you can eject the USB, and then we can do it all over again.
Because we have several things how to for the cloud login. If I have a track, and by the way, one other thing that's happening, if I'm playing a track, so I've loaded whatever track, this track is now being downloaded from Beatport. It's also analyzed, so one of the questions earlier is about the analyzing on board of the hardware. This is done on board of the hardware. System, yeah. So this is the accuracy of the onboard analysis, I think.
But with these kind of tracks, that is kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, come on, it's just 4 to the floor, stamp it on. Anyway, this track is there, and if I do a DJ change, I'm not sure, let's be safe in this one. Let's go to the local library, because this is what I wanted to show. There's a track running, and now we do a DJ swap. So I need to leave, and normally you would be waiting until the next DJ mixes in his first track. It's an awkward position, but now the 3000 already buffered the complete track, but if you press the eject, it will still stop the music. The 3000X does not do it. So if I hold this button, I can now remove the USB, so there's no more USB, and this is a local track, so that was not from streaming provided. And
okay,
now
and it buffers it.
It buffers the whole track, and I can use the whole track. I even can make hot cues.
Jozef will love me for this. That is what Denon did.
Well, probably, but
it's a great feature. It's a very important feature.
I think it's a good improvement.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So then we have the cloud login. The cloud login can go via several ways, because now I don't have any USB. My USB is on the side. I put it in my pocket, otherwise I'm going to forget it. So I want to use my cloud files. I can do a few things. And let's first try the thing that today I updated it, my app, so I'm not sure if it works. If you have the latest Rekordbox app, and on the front side of the
you can move. Yeah, you can move.
If we have the front side here, there's an NFC read point. So if I touch my phone, it says Rekordbox NFC tag, open Rekordbox. So now it's authorizing my cloud storage, as you can see in the screen, with the app. So it saves me typing in a lot of information, inserting a USB that's being connected, and this is also where you see the logout button in the device. So now I'm actually browsing on streaming services. This is what I have in my cloud, my Rekordbox cloud. So I can have my playlist and go to a playlist and play a track. It's downloading it, and now this track is buffered. What was the question? If I now log out,
what do I do?
Because if I log out now, because now this deck is only logged into my cloud environment, so there's no local files. I put in this file, and now Peter needs to play after me.
Yes, I'm next.
I have no idea. Let's find out together. Well, it logs me out. The track is still here, and I can have all the functionality I still have in that track, and it's buffered until the end. So the last track.
And now the question was, what happens if you make that tag list and you log out?
Then we have to do the login again. Gives me a good point in to show another way of logging in, because we've had the authorized USB, we've got the NFC touch point, and we have this button login. So if I press this button login, it's going to show me a QR code. Well, I don't think I have to tell people what you can do with a QR code, because you have to make a photo, and then you
get to all nasty sites.
Log in, then you see www. Oh, wait up. So you go to your Alpha Theta page. This is where you have your login.
It doesn't show it. It's too bright. So
now
it's okay.
I do authenticate, and now you will see that the screen jumps on, and now again it's logged into the same as what I had. Back to the question of the global tag list.
So let's tag a bunch of tracks.
What's going to happen? Get a track, go here, taggity, 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 tag. Now make it a little bit more difficult, because I go to my Beatport track.
Let me switch for you for a moment. giving Jeroen the time to log in.
Perhaps you have another question there.
No, Stine Elder has the question, with 2 USBs inserted, I think you even have more than one global tag list.
Yes, correct. The global tag list is device or /user bound.
Oh, okay.
So it's not global to
It's
everything.
storage device bound.
Yes.
And that's the reason why you have two when you are in the cloud. You have the global one in the cloud and you have the local one on the USB.
Yes. I say yes, but that was just an automatic answer.
Yeah, why not? you can always say yes.
Okay, I'm logged into Beatport.
Sure. Hold on, wait for the matrix.
Boom!
There you go.
That was the red pill. That takes a little bit longer. So I'm going to Beatport. Now on Beatport I go to anything and I'm going to mark a few Beatport tracks. So now when I go to the tag list, this is Beatport.
Yeah, let's wait till
Global. You will see
Okay,
everything.
yeah.
So you see Recordbox Cloud and you see the Beatport Cloud.
Now everything is downloaded.
Now I'm playing this track. And now I go here and I go log out. Because that was the question.
And
what is going to happen with the tag list?
Yes.
The file is there.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
The device,
that makes sense.
That's the same if you remove your USB because the user is gone. So
I know what I expected, but I was curious if I were going to get it, and I'm going to get it.
Yep. So I think that's the majority of the things. Other that we use new micro switches, but
That's mumbo jumbo, and a new power supply, and new deck, and I don't know what.
New audio quality and
I believe that part. That's okay. That means that, folks, this is what Jeroen wanted to share with us. And I think we hit most of the questions. If you got a question for us, throw it in the chat right now. So we stay on a little bit longer just to see if there's a question coming on. If you have such a question, just raise your hand and say, I got a question before you start typing, so we know that we have to wait a little bit longer. If there are no other questions popping up, then this will be the end of tonight's stream because Jeroen is going to be very busy. I heard how early his alarm is going off tomorrow. So he needs to get home. It's still like a 30-minute drive from here for him.
45.
45, something like that. So Jeroen, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for all your knowledge and the fact that you bring this great device to the studio. Stine Elder, the SanDisk Dual USB is exactly the same as the one sold with the Recordbox branding.
Yes.
Stine, that is correct. There is one tiny difference. That is that the Alpha Theta one is by default formatted master boot record. And that is because of compatibility issues. But if you format your SanDisk Pro master boot record, I recommend macOS Extended, then it will be identical.
With master boot record, of course.
Master boot record macOS Extended, yes.
And officially the 1 terabyte version USBs with Recordbox branded will be sold, at least here in Europe, by the dealer network, and the 512 gigabytes are sold by SanDisk on their own website. So depending on the size that you want, go to SanDisk official or find the Pioneer DJ Alpha Theta retailer in your area to grab your 1 terabyte.
Lawson Burnett is asking the question that is also impossible to answer. Are there any features planned for the future that are not in this release?
Well, we have this official answer, then we go do a rerun. Every feature that has not been announced by an official press release, I have no information about. Or I cannot tell any information about, because what I know and what I can tell are obviously two different things.
Are two very, like I told, I knew about this device at the beginning from the beginning of this year. I needed to have my mouth shut, and there is always something going on, but we cannot make any statements about stuff.
The question, when will the new whatever drop, or is there a new whatever coming? Yes. Answer is always yes, because our engineers are always working on the next generation products. What product it is, when it will be there, and what features are there, wait for the press release.
There's always the question, why those secrecy? Why those secrecy about new released products? And do you know the story about Osborne Computers?
No, Commodore?
Osborne Computers, that was a brand. Back in the mid-80s, Osborne, a CPM computer, was the market leader in typewriters. Those were like a coffin with a green screen on it and a keyboard that you could click.
Digital typewriters, like with the head.
No. It was a computer. It had a screen. You could click. It worked with floppy drives. And this is before WordPerfect, folks. It was the standard of digital text writing. It was like everybody was using this Osborne computer. And then Apple came out with the Macintosh with the WYSIWYG screen. And everybody was eyeing that to say, that's nice, but that Macintosh was 5 times more expensive than that portable Osborne computer. Kind of portable, it was more lookable. But Osborne made the mistake to say, you see that Mac, beautiful, huh? We are going to have that in the next release. And everybody was asking, when is the next release going to be? Well, it's going to be next year. Guess what happened to the sales of those market-leading Osborne computers? Down the drain. Next year came, no Osborne 2. The year after it came, no Osborne 2. End of the story, Osborne went bankrupt because they promised features in a future product that they were not yet able to deliver upon, and in the process bankrupt themselves by talking about it. And that's the reason why Alpha Theta, Apple and many other companies are so secret about what is in development. Not because they want to keep it a secret, but they are afraid that if they cannot deliver on time for whatever reason, might be a technical reason, might be a supply chain issue, might be something you have not yet think about. But if you cannot deliver upon your promise, you will bankrupt yourself, talking about the features that are not there yet. And for that reason, everybody shuts up about future releases. Osborne Computer, Google it.
And it's not there's not a reason to tell what you're going to have, because it's better to say what you have. And Alpha Theta Pioneer DJ announces products very close to also shipment day, because CDJ-3000x will be available by the end of the month in stores. And if we would announce it way far ahead, we're going to talk about a lot of stories. What's this, what's that, and how is that going to work? We're just not going to tell until we have something physical. See, like this, we made an announcement like yesterday, and now we have already some products to show up and to demonstrate. And
even some retailers worldwide.
And not that I have like, yeah, I've got this image of this product. We were going to have it. Yeah, it might not be this black or this silver or whatever. You will see, but we're going to have it. It's no use in talking.
We all have seen the story about the Rain 1 MK2 that was like leaked 9 months ago before it was finally released. Same with Prime 4, that was maybe 12 months ahead before it was delivered. Better to don't talk about stuff that you cannot yet get in the supply chain fast. Like I said, globally I know that there are stores in the world that have it on stock, the 3000X right now. We in Europe are not that lucky yet, but we will get there. And I think that's a good thing. Alpha Theta in general waits until at least it will be quickly deliverable. And I understand why they work that way. Javaman, thank you. Jeroen and Mixmaster G chat with you next Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend. Same to you, Javaman. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And indeed, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central European Time, I expect to host my Ask Me Anything again live. Most likely without Jeroen, though we love to hang out together, so you never know. No promises there.
Next week's Tuesday I'm in London, so
all right, then for sure that won't.
Liam, how good was the CDJ-3000 though? As a question, I don't know why you asked that, because you have to look at it in that time frame. And yes, I did the introduction of the CDJ-3000 MK3 as well, so I still have my story about it. It has a bigger waveform, it has a silver ring on the jog wheel, so the jog wheel was improved. It was the first player to ever have an SD slot on the front where you could load up, well, not the first one, because that was DMP 505 in 2000, earlier even, but the CDJ 1000 Mark III had a SD input, so you could play back tracks from an SD card, but it was daunting to browse because you had one text row and that's how you browsed your files. So for the time it was great, but that was a time where we still used CDs and digital files were almost non-existing. So for the time it was great. Would I go back now? No, I want a USB.
Would you use your iPhone 1 now?
You can.
Yeah.
It was good for the time being.
When it was released, it was a great product. So everything has its own time in its own place. Folks, again, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Jeroen, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And we see each other pretty soon, I hope. Again, Mixmaster G, signing off.